Welcome, everybody, to a new Sons of Montezuma podcast. Say it ain't so, guys. The Aztecs have lost 3 in a row. A 1-point heartbreak to Central Michigan. And we're going to talk about it all right now.
Flag down. O'Neal lost. In stride, caught Brown inside the 5. First and goal. Cooper blasted, but gets into the end zone. Long best point, and then make the throw to Jude Wolf.
O'Neal back to the air on 2nd and 9. Going deep, over the top, got a man caught down inside the 15. On 3rd down and 13 from the 38. Fired over the middle, it's intercepted. Inside the 30, the 20, and down to the 10-yard line.
Chipwell's got to keep him out of the end zone, down 21-19, 2:09 to play. In the pistol, snap back to O'Neal, handoff Cooper, and a tackle made right there on the far side 10. It is a 44-yarder inside the near hash marks. Chapeau to hold. The snap is down. Maxon's boot has plenty of leg, floating in the air. He drills it. 5 seconds to go. Another late rally from Central Michigan at home to stun San Diego State. They lead 22-21 in Mount Pleasant.
Oh, the pain. What's going on, everybody? We want to thank you guys for joining this new episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast, the original home for Aztec sports talk on YouTube and all that good stuff. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before we get into everything. This is, I think, our 6th or 7th year doing this, James, and we can't stop, won't stop, right? Can't stop.
Absolutely.
How you doing, James? How you doing, James? Good to see you, man.
I'm still recovering from the weekend between that game and then the concert after. Then I had to work Sunday and Monday. I'm feeling it.
Hey, man, quit whining. Nobody wants to hear you're whining about your weekend when the Aztecs lost. It was just a compounded, devastating weekend for us. No, man, it's good to have you here, dude. I know I saw you on Sunday morning. You don't remember, dude. I saw you on Sunday morning. You were hurting, man.
Oh yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us again. Yeah, man. What's up?
Games like that are always tough to swallow, man, because they should have won that game for all intents and purposes. But those are the ones that really getting blown out or getting dominated. You can kind of, you don't like it, but you understand it. The games like that on Saturday those are brutal.
It leaves you, and I know we headlined this episode. We already got some pushback on the headline, dude, and it says trust the process. We're going to give some arguments why we should be trusting the process and why maybe some of you guys don't feel like you should be trusting it or you're not trusting it right now. But it was a 1-point loss. It hurt. We showed you in the highlights there on the road against a MAC opponent who, we were all, talking about this week coming into the game, man. I mean, had only lost to a MAC opponent once in SDSU history, and that was Ohio in that crazy Frisco Bowl game that we just got destroyed in. But other than that, man, it was just been super dominant against MAC teams. Central Michigan, no exception, beat them in the 2019 New Mexico Bowl game. That was cool. On the telecast, they showed some Jesse Matthews love on there because he was the MVP of that game. But we knew this was going to be a different situation coming into it, right? I mean, losing 2 games in a row, had the bye week, right? So effectively, you have 2 weeks coming into this game to prepare, work out all of the disciplinary issues. And for the most part, let's talk about that. The penalties, right? That's kind of low-hanging fruit. That's the obvious thing that the team needed to clean up. So with those 2 weeks, what do you think, James? What do you think really got the message across? Because they only had 4 penalties in this game against Central Michigan. And for the first half, for the most part, they were squeaky clean. Do you think it was like preparation, or do you think all those up downs really worked and got the team's attention? What do you think?
I'm sure it was probably a combination of both, man. It's penalties they always, I don't know how much you can coach it out. There's only so much like beating the kids to death doing conditioning will do to fix it. It's just, they got to get used to playing together. And, like we talked about it before, sometimes that's just the team's personality. They're just kind of sloppy when it comes to penalties. So, yeah, dude, I can't put a finger on, I'm not there every day at practice. Sorry, man, I'm having computer issues. I'm not there every day at practice, so we don't really know what's going on. But
hey, close all those tabs, dude. Close all those tabs, man. What do you got? What do you got going on over there?
Dude, my freaking computer's tripping out. Hold on.
Yeah, you're getting attacked.
Yeah, I was trying to do some updates because I turned it on right before the show started.
Yo.
Oh, damn, dude. Well, thank you to everybody who showed up to San Diego Brewing. We're there on Saturday watching the game. They opened their doors to Sons of Monty crew. Everybody for showing up and watching that game. We were all having a great time. It was an up and down game, back and forth. The penalties, though, that first half, it was pretty squeaky clean, like we said. So that was one of the improvements that we saw. And I think essentially that's what we wanted to walk away from this game. Of course, you always want the win. You play to win every single game. But knowing everything that we've seen these last 2 weeks against Cal and Oregon State, you had to see some improvement. So when I look at the penalties, 4 of them, I think they improved, right? I think it's pretty safe to say they improved in that area. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Yeah, and I think to me, the biggest takeaway from this game is I feel really comfortable about the future at quarterback. Danny O'Neil had a pretty solid game, and kind of going with that, I kind of wish that Coach Lewis would have put the ball in his hands on that last drive when we had the ball after the interception. He's shown that he's not going to do something stupid with the ball. Let him try to put the game away for us. And Coach Lewis got really conservative on that last drive and just ran the ball 3 times and took the attempted field goal. And I kind of wish they would have let Danny throw the ball once to try to make something happen.
Really? Do you? Really?
Yeah. I think there was a lot of good, man. He looked pretty good in this game. And I think the offense showed some glimpses of starting to kind of come together a little bit. So, I mean, it's not all bad. Of course, you always want to win the game. But I think there is some stuff you can kind of take away and build on going forward.
Let's look at this game. Danny O'Neil, 14 of 23, 246 yards through the air, 2 touchdown passes. So, yeah, I don't see any interceptions on that list, right? Don't see any interceptions. If I'm looking at this game, we can get into that last drive or last 2 drives, but let's hold off on that for 1 second. Danny O'Neil, I agree with you, man. I think him coming back into the starting lineup, we wanted to see how he was going to react right after having that week off from the injury, and Javance got that start. And I think everybody was excited to see Danny get back in there and see how he was gonna do on that leg first off. But then, okay, that extra bye week of preparation, and I think he did very well, man. He seems to be connecting very well in those deep passes. Of course, Lewis Brown had a pretty awesome game catching some of those deep balls, and he seems to be that guy who could take the ball off the top, right, and kind of stretch out a defense a little bit. Is that kind of what you're alluding to, though? That connection with Lewis Brown, and of course, you can't forget about tight ends. Can't forget about Jude Wolfe.
Not just that, but man, he just does not put the ball in a bad spot. Like he puts it where his guy can get it or nobody else can get it. And he's got such great touch on his deep ball, and that allows his guys a chance to use their athleticism, guys like Lewis Brown, to make a play on the ball. And we haven't had a quarterback like that in quite some time. So, yeah, I'm super stoked. I can't wait to see him continue to progress this year. I think like about mid-season this year, he's going to be a guy in the Mountain West. And I think this passing game is going to only continue to evolve.
Is there a quarterback that he kind of reminds you of now that you've seen him after a couple games here?
Not really in our history. Maybe you'd have to go back way back to a guy we had on the show not too long ago, man. Lowry, somebody like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Just he's got great touch. He's got a solid arm, but he's athletic though, man. He was able to, even with you can tell he's still kind of a little banged up in that knee, but he still has some athleticism to be a threat in the running game, or at least get some time in the pocket. He's just a real fluid athlete, so it's fun to watch him play. I enjoy watching him run the offense, and when you think about him only being a true freshman, man, it's exciting.
And not even necessarily an Aztec, like who does he remind you of, but just any quarterback. To me, just maybe it's because of the recency bias or something like that. But I feel like by the time he's kind of gets around form into his junior year, maybe I could see him really kind of reflecting like a Hainer type, like a Jake Hainer for old Fresno quarterback. Kind of reminds me of that. I guess, smaller build guy, right? But he's got that arm strength and the maneuverability. I wouldn't necessarily call Danny O'Neil like a running quarterback at all or anything like that, but he's got a lot of athleticism and maneuverability, you know.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good comparison. I think Hainer might have had a little bit of a bigger arm, but I think O'Neil has a little bit better touch on his passes than Hainer. He throws such a catchable ball. Like you saw that one, Wolf didn't make a great play on the reception in the end zone, but he threw it so catchable that he couldn't help but catch it even after bobbling it a few times.
Yeah. Oh man, just thinking about back on the game. I mean, you're talking about 21 points in that first half. The first time they've scored 21 in quite a bit in a half. 21-13, I believe, going into the half, and you just felt like all the momentum was on our side, man. You know, the had some big deep ball passes and completions. Marquez Cooper was kind of getting loose there every once in a while. He obviously had the first score in that first quarter for us, and you just felt like, okay, the defense is playing, and you know, this defense, we can't talk more about this defense, dude. I mean, I put in the article this morning. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you go give it a read. The defense, they always give us a puncher's chance. They give this team an opportunity to win every game. And I said I wasn't talking about that right cross from Deshaun McCune there at the end of the first half, dude. But they give us a puncher's chance, man. I mean, they have been beyond my expectations. That's for sure, this defense, dude. And you can't talk about the defense without talking about Trey White. I said it. He's the best player on the field, man. No doubt.
Yeah, man. He has really blossomed this year under this staff and this system, and playing at that edge position. It's kind of, you know, we talked about it a few weeks ago. I think him putting his hand on the ground a little bit and being able to just get after the passer, I think it's kind of let him just be him and do his thing. He doesn't have to think so much. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he's letting his athleticism take over. And he's just been like a revelation this year. It's so fun to watch our defense because they get pressure.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything like super exotic in terms of blitzing. They just beat guys and get in the backfield. So it's real fun to watch. The only issue I have with this defense that it could be a concern going forward is against teams that want to be physical and pound it up the middle. They're a little weak in the middle. That's the only thing that's a concern, especially when we go to play like Boise that can run the ball well. That and Wyoming in a couple weeks. Those are going to be games where that defense is going to have to stiffen up the middle and stop some people, because they have shown a tendency to get kind of pushed around a little bit up the middle, and teams just get physical and run it downfield.
Yeah, it's gonna be curious to see how they do against an Air Force, right? An Air Force team, which of course Air Force is not the Air Force that we've known in years past, but just that dedication to running the ball and that fullback dive, all that good stuff. But we'll get into that later. They've held their own, this defense. You know, they've risen to the occasion against every opponent they've been placed against, and they've given the opportunity to the offense, dude. You know, let's talk about how opportunistic they've been, dude. I mean, they've been turning people over. Like you talk about getting to the quarterback. And that just creates opportunities for interceptions, which they've been able to do. For fumbles, that strip sack by Trey there late in the game, that was you can't ask for more than anything than that. And they've been pretty unfortunate when it comes to luck, because you're always going to need luck. I don't care who you are, fortunes, whatever you want to say. It's not a round ball. That ball, it's all over the place, right? And it doesn't always go your way. It always doesn't go your direction. So against Cal, we had a pick six. I was there in the Coliseum there. What did Fiend say? It was a shitty stadium. Is that what he said? I was there at Cal Berkeley. We got a pick six. We're running it into the end zone. And one of our defenders blocks a guy in the back. The guy turned his back on us. He got caught pushing him. Bring the pick six back. It doesn't count. Bad luck, right? Kind of a phantom call. Well, in this game, we get an interception as well towards the end of the game. And our guys returning it down to the 10-yard line. And you could see, I think it was Dom Oliver, he was running down the sideline. The quarterback was like the only guy he had to block. But the quarterback turns his back to him. And to Dom's credit, right, he learned from the Cal game, he learned, okay, the guy turned his back on him. You can see him raise his arms back. He's not going to block him in the back, because then you got to bring that sucker all the way back. Took his hands off, and sure enough, the quarterback turned around and he was there to trip up. Who was it? Number 0. That was Bryce Phillips, who got that big interception. When we thought that was the game, we thought he sealed it. We were going crazy there, and no block in the back, and he got tackled down. So it's just one of those unlucky things, man. Jeez.
Yeah, man. Like you said, the defense played well enough for us to win this game, and that's all you can ask for, really, from your defense at this point, because it's they're learning a new system as well, just like the offense. So yeah, it's just disappointing, man. Unfortunately, the special teams, which has been a strength of this program for so long, kind of let the team down this week. I don't know what went into changing out kickers. It looks like I saw the 2 deep. It looks like they're going back to Placencia this week, which I think is a good thing. Because you can't have that, man. Those are both pretty short field goals, and that, especially when that's the difference of a 1-point game. That's 6 points they left on the field.
It's tough, man. I mean, we can get into the kickers. It was how do you say? Lopez hadn't missed any, not an extra point, not a field goal this season yet. And it's not like he got a bunch of opportunities, right? We haven't been scoring. But he hadn't missed. And I know Gabriel Placencia, he had missed an extra point and a field goal, I believe, that first week. I think I'm not gonna make any excuses, but I think the field goal wasn't a chip shot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that consistency, Coach Lewis in his presser today was basically saying, okay, well, we're gonna take it to practice and see who's consistent in those game time situations that we create in practice. But you're never gonna recreate those pressure situations in practice, dude. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we were all watching the game. Before we get into that final game-winning kick of the game, let's show everybody just a glimpse of what the atmosphere was like at San Diego Brewing, dude, during those couple minutes.
A few moments later.
Take it. Oh, he nailed it! He nailed it!
Hurry up!
Boo!
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah. Hey, again, like always, we won the tailgate. We had a good time at San Diego Brewing Company. Everybody had a blast that was there. I think I think that was at least worth it. It was good to spend an afternoon there with a bunch of fellow Aztec fans and have a good time. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it is what it is, dude.
Just unlucky, man. Unlucky. I mean, I don't know. In those situations, I see Fiend, what's going on? He says, what about the strip sack they got called back because of a face mask penalty? Like we're saying, man, the defense just snake bit. You know, they're playing lights out, given the opportunities, giving the punchers chance, and that face mask penalty. I think that's when they were having technical difficulties on the broadcast too. I don't know if you guys saw that. I had to go back and rewatch because they're at the brewery. It was really loud. I couldn't tell that the audio went out. The audio commentators went out. So I think it was like during that patchwork of technical difficulties. They didn't even show a replay of that face mask. Like it was the most phantom face mask penalty. Like no kind of replay on that one.
That's another reason. Aren't you glad to be getting out of the Mountain West, man, with that unbelievable technical glitch? Half the game being announced by the studio crew.
Oh God. All right. I see Fiend said he read the lips of the ref. What did he say? What did he say?
He's a master lip reader.
Oh boy. Well, the missed field goals. I mean, we could debate this, dude, because a lot of people online this weekend after the game. Okay, I get it. They're putting it on the coach. And no matter how you lose, if you lose, the coach, you're gonna bear the grunt of it. The buck stops with you no matter how you slice it, right? Okay, you make one of those 2 field goals, you win the game. I wouldn't say that necessarily, though. I wouldn't say that because it still would have been a 1-score game. It would have been much more difficult to win the game with no timeouts, right? Because that's essentially what Sean Lewis did on that offensive possession towards the end after that interception was run 3 straight times, make Central Michigan burn their timeouts. Plus, there was a 2-minute warning in college football now that you got to account for. So, I mean, he made them burn their timeouts. You figured they got to go the length of the field to score a touchdown if you make that kick. Now, the kicker missed one already. And somebody asked me online that, you know, we get hit up a lot, you know, whether it's social media or Twitter or whatever it is. And it's like, why would he send him back out there knowing he missed already and he looked like he had lost his confidence? Well, you don't factor him to miss another really short field goal. You don't figure that's going to happen twice in a row, especially when he's never missed all season long. It's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, James.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to make a change in the middle of the game like that. I think Placencia was there, right? Because he did kickoffs. So I don't know. I just don't I don't agree with making the switch at kicker to begin with. But it's fair to blame the coach for the loss because ultimately it's his game plan. It's his, you know, it wasn't like there was a huge error besides the missed field goal that led to the loss. And then like I understand what you're talking about, making them burn their timeouts, but I didn't feel comfortable with being able to stop them, keeping them out of field goal range if we missed it. So I just wish he would have been a little more aggressive. He's shown he's aggressive. How many times did he go for it on 4th down in that game? I think twice. So I like the aggression. I just kind of wish he would have put the ball in Danny O'Neill's hands at the end there. Yeah. At least on 3rd down, give him a chance. But you know, it is what it is. But what I don't want to hear is people talking about, oh, this is a bad hire, like fire the coach already. Like I better not hear any of that nonsense, man, because it's still way too early in the process. What are we, 4 games in? Yeah, it's like I don't want to hear any of that nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it's more just a disappointment of not being aggressive, right? Because we talk about the alpha, be the alpha, you know, Aztec fast, all the hype. And, you know, talking with those that were there watching the game with us, you know, I have to agree. Melanie, what's up? She says, you know, you want to buy in. You want to buy in to the attitude and the spirit of this new program, be the alpha mentality and the Aztec fast. You want to see that happen. And then when you get 2 possessions in the red zone and you miss field goals, of course, but that aggressiveness in those situations, okay, if we're going to be the alpha, then take a shot. You know what I mean? Put it on your quarterback's arm. He hasn't thrown an interception yet this season, knock on wood. So you want to see that aggressiveness from your coach. You want to see that.
I think he threw one against Oregon State, but that was after he was hurt.
Okay.
The main thing is like turnovers are huge momentum changers, man. And you get that turnover, he almost takes it to the house. Like that first play is, to me, Dan and I were talking about it. We're like, take a shot right now. Like you got the momentum, it's shifted like crazy. Take a shot right now into the end zone from here. And then if it doesn't work, then you run the ball twice and make them burn a couple timeouts. But at least take a shot, you know. But you know, he gets paid big bucks to deal with those situations, and you know that's the way he chose to deal with it. He took what he thought was going to be an easy field goal and take the lead and hold them. But you know, let's move on to the next one, bro. Let's
no, you can't let him off the hook that easy. You can't. Okay, well, here's the thing though, because in the article I said it, aggressive play call, right? When you think back to like Coach Horton and that offense, right? People would complain, oh, they're not being aggressive enough. They just run the ball. But playing aggressive, you know, I hope everybody understands, because I mean, we've been doing this for a few years now, dude. We've seen offensive styles come and go. We're seeing the transition this program is trying to take offensively to this like new era, right? But running the ball doesn't necessarily mean you're not being aggressive, right? I mean, running the ball, that's like as aggressive as you can get. If you just smash mouth football, line it up, and let's be aggressive with this thing. But this team is just not that team. They're not gonna will a team into submission on the ground right now. They, you know, those teams of the past, they used to be able to do that, dude. I mean, we're talking 12, 13 play drives, taking up 5 minutes to end the game and just completely stomp the competition into submission. Like, you're not going to see that with this team. But if we're going to be passing, if we're going to be this Aztec fast team, you know, you got to go for it. Like, which side are you going to be? You know, is it going to be a team that's going to settle for field goals to try to win? Or are you going to go for it and, you know, break out the Rocky Long chart? No field goals. Like, let's get this sucker in there. You know what I mean? And that, to me, I mean, that's a lasting impression, dude. You got to play to win the game. This field goal stuff, okay, they missed it. They make it. Maybe we win. Maybe we win. But you can't put it on a field goal. Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm just ready. I'm ready for them to pull the training wheels off of Danny O'Neil and let him throw the ball 40 times, man. Let's get this thing going. I'm ready to see the real Aztec fast offense. And I think that'll only open up the running game more, because what they do is Central Michigan knew we were going to run the ball in those 3 plays. They had a good feeling we were going to run the ball in those 3 plays. And you saw it's hard to run the ball when they're loading up the box on you. So nothing will open up that box like just throwing the ball around. You got the quarterback that's going to do it. He's capable of doing it. Let's just do it, man. Take the training wheels off.
Jack Holly, K5 James was listening to your episode. Let Danny just throw it out there 40, 50, 60 times. Let him sling it. Let's go. Okay.
I'm with Jack.
Oh, thank you guys for all joining in the chat. I see the chat is firing up a little bit. We're going to answer some of you guys' questions, comments, and concerns in just a little bit. Man. Well, there's a lot of good. There was some bad, and there was some ugly in this game. I feel like we've kind of addressed most of all of it. Let's talk about the running game just a little bit before we move forward, though. Because I'm seeing, what is this? Yauk journey? How do you say it? Yauk journey? Penalties came back down to earth. What's the next step do you guys want to see as a team to get back on the W train? Now, I think it starts with the running game. I think Cooper, he had over 100 yards in this game. I think it was on, 30-something carries. So, I mean, they were dedicated to him for sure. And I think, he had some long ones. He has the ability to get in the end zone. If the offensive line is kind of still working around changing some guys on the interior a little bit, right? I think morale went down. They had replaced him during the game, and let's be honest, he was kind of the culprit on a lot of those penalties early in this year. So we'll have to see how that holds up on the depth chart moving forward. But my concern is with the running backs, and I hate to say concern, but it's just the point being the depth at running back position was one of the strengths and kind of luxuries that everybody was talking about. And now we're 4 games in, and I mean, Jalen Armstead didn't get 1 carry. Lucky Sutton didn't get 1 carry this last game. And listen, I'm not oh, everybody needs to share the ball. Like we've talked about that in years past where it felt like it was too much of a running back by committee. You got to have those couple guys that you're going to be dedicated to, get them in rhythm. But I feel like there's a little underusage here, man. I mean, there's room for, I think, a tandem and at least a little bit of mixing up that style, having that battering ram guy out there. I mean, and I feel like Jalen and Lucky both fit that profile, man. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, man, I agree. There's no reason Cooper should be getting 34 carries in a game. Unless he's having just crazy success and he's getting 5 yards a carry and we're just dominating. Sometimes you kind of need like a little change of pace, like bringing a bigger guy like Sutton or Armstead, just to kind of give the defense another look. I know in Coach Lewis past, when he's been a coach before, he mixes up the running backs. I don't know. Cooper's just his guy, and he trusts Cooper in all situations, and he knows Cooper, I'm sure, knows the offense better than any running back probably better than any player on the offense. And I imagine that's part of it, is he feels comfortable with Lewis or with Cooper in there because Cooper knows his responsibilities in the passing game and the running game. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I would like to see guys like Armstead and Sutton and even Davis get some carries to kind of give Cooper a breather, to keep him fresher and to give the defense another look, a different style of back coming at him.
I don't know if we'll see that. I really don't know. But I would have to think you got to take advantage. If that was one of your strengths, that's one of your strong points on the offense. I don't see what the holdup would be, or what I don't see it. I just don't see it, and I hate to complain. I believe what T-Mac is saying. You lose, people are gonna complain, especially Aztecs fans, right?
Oh yeah.
You win you hit those field goals and you win. We're probably not having these gripes or these conversations, these topics, but that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it is. All right, everybody. Right now, we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna talk to you about our deal with Manscaped. Of course, guys, you need to know, save 20% off manscaped.com plus free shipping. The lawnmower, it's the choice. It's the choice for your grooming needs, guys. It's the way I go. Like, you see those little silver balls running down there, and they're not getting nicked up. They're not getting cut. Them silver balls. You gotta have some smooth silver balls, fellas. Manscaped.com right now, 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. They have been really, really great with us and continuing their partnership with Sons of Montezuma. Use that promo code SONS20 and you can save on some really, really good grooming products. Of course, James, like I mentioned, the underwear, the lotions, the deodorant, all that good stuff. I'm building up my my arsenal of grooming products, and I couldn't be happier. That's for sure. So, guys, make sure you guys are supporting manscaped.com. All right. Let's get into some of these comments, man, because Hawaii is up next, and it's the first conference game. Everybody, it's the first conference game right now. A little plug: if you are a season ticket holder right now, you're actually getting 2 free tickets if you want them. The university, the program has sent you an email, so check your email. You can send 2 free tickets to anybody of your choice, a guest of your choice. But you got to do it today. Tomorrow is the last day to get those 2 free tickets, and let's get a good crowd there at Snapdragon right there behind me. You guys can sit there. It's gonna be family weekend too, so it's gonna be a good crowd. Family weekend's always a pretty good crowd. So, but I know, man, two free tickets. I know who I'm giving them to. So, if you're a season ticket holder, you have the access to do that. So definitely try to do that.
Yeah, and it's a super easy process, man. You just put in your email, their email, and their name, and it sends it right out. I did it to a coworker today. I gave him my 2 free tickets, and it took me like 2 minutes, man, to get it done. So, I mean, take advantage of it. It's good that the athletic department is starting to do something like this, so we can try to get some good crowds for the rest of the season here. Hopefully, they do it again later on down the line.
They got to do some more things, man. They got to do some more things like that. I have some ideas that I think people would show up for. You know, you go to a Padre game, man, they always got those giveaways, dude. The best giveaways at the Padre games, like little Manny Machado bobblehead or a little pin, you know, something, whatever it is, a hat, like so many cool little things that a lot of people can have access to. Of course, if you guys haven't noticed, I got my Swingin' Monty Padres shirt on right now. You can find in the shop. Wearing this sucker, you know, got to represent for the Padres.
Who are they playing tomorrow? I didn't see the second game. Who won that second game today?
They are playing the Braves. They're playing Atlanta.
Man.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be real. It's going to be real. I'm not going. If you guys are going, let us know in the chat. Let us know if you guys are going to Petco in the chat this week. That's going to be exciting. That's why we want to do this tonight, because it's Padre week. It's Padre week. For sure. Okay, guys, let's see. T-Mac, thank you for the super. Of course, thank you on Helica earlier as well. T-Mac says, go Aztecs. I am back in the country for 2 weeks, so I'll try to make the game. I flew back to see Fiend's mullet in person. Oh, man, you will not be disappointed, T-Mac. You're going to see some curly goodness just flowing out of that neck of Fiend. He's got the curls rocking. It looks like he's had him in curlers all day, and man, he loves to sport that thing. It's magnificent.
He had the lettuce flowing on Saturday, man.
It's glorious, man. It looks very natural, very sleek, and I think he should wear it all the time, man. I think he should wear it all the time. But yeah, dude, welcome. If you make it to the game, yellow lot, everybody. We are always in the yellow lot, right on the grass. You guys are more than welcome to stop by. Say what's up. Say hello. Today I was in the neighborhood in my van, and it's my everyday driver right now, man. It's really embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing, you know, drive all over San Diego in that van, and you know, it's pulled off to the little store, the convenience store, real quick, and somebody, hey, can I take a picture with my girl in front of your van, dude? I was like, yeah, dude, awesome. So I got to meet some new friends off of that today. So T-Mac, come by, check out the van, take a photo with Fiend's mullet.
Yeah, that the van is it's growing a reputation around San Diego, man, and you're spreading it around right now with the daily driven situation.
Too many miles on that sucker. Too many miles. Okay, let's see. No, Norm says, what's going on with Shaw still? I expected more from him this game. I believe he's talking about Makai Shaw. Makai's been, you know, he started off the year banged up, so that was, you know, that's tough already. You're starting the season, so he's been working himself back in on special teams. They've been letting him do punt returns and whatnot, but haven't seen him out there, you know, getting opportunities for some targets. So I can't really speak much into that. I know they've been working around different rotations in the receivers, and it seems like they've been locking down, of course, with Lewis Brown doing very well, and I believe it was Napier, right? He got that touchdown the other game, and so hopefully we'll get some action out there. You know, hopefully at least on special teams, if you can get that going, that'd be some nice returns. Maybe that might open up some doors there. But I agree. You know, I agree. He's a sure-handed receiver. He'd love, you know, some great route running ability. We'd love to see him out there and solidify some catches. I think seems like we make those hard catches, but sometimes those easy ones get dropped. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to mention the player by name, but yeah, there was a pretty big drop that would have kept the drive going. But but yeah, I think Shaw's kind of rounding himself back into form, man. Hopefully, sooner the better, because they need that reliable guy that can get you those first downs, man, on those third and medium plays. That's like a specialty, man. He's a killer at that.
Piggybacking on Journey's question when he asked what next step are we looking forward to get back in that win column, Fiend said air raid offense. I know we were talking about that earlier, the air raid offense, you know what I mean? And to kind of bring up something interesting as far as the quarterback Danny O'Neil, I don't know if I necessarily see Danny like running the RPO so much. I don't know if I would really want him to be running the RPO so much, especially with all the running backs you got. I know it's an X factor though when you got a running quarterback who can kind of dive up there and get some good yardage. But the air raid, maybe, that I saw they got in a pistol formation, which was kind of interesting. But I know Lewis likes to mix up his formations a lot, right? Like he said, he's like a junkyard dog of an offense. Like it's just going to be all over the place.
Yeah, we're not really an air raid team. We use the tight end too much. But I definitely agree. We need to throw the ball more. I think that opens up everything. And you've got a quarterback that, in my opinion, you can trust enough to be responsible with the ball. So yeah, dude, I agree. We do need to air it out a little more. Maybe not 40 times. I was just talking out of my rear end there, but definitely like 30. How many times did he throw on Saturday, dude? I didn't even see. Let me check real quick.
Who, Danny?
Yeah. Oh, 24 times, right? 24 times.
I see 23. Yeah,
I would like to see it in the 30s. Like I'm cool with him throwing the ball 30-ish times, and even maybe 40 if he's on a roll. But I definitely want to see a little more of a mix of the passing game. I know it was kind of situational on Saturday. They were just trying to run the clock out, but I definitely feel like you can run the clock out by just getting first downs with your quarterback, man. So, and that's kind of what Lewis's offense has been up until he's been here. I think maybe it's like we've talked about. It's just the continued growth of learning the system and him getting more comfortable with all the players and their reactions and situations. We'll see, man. Friday's another game. It's another game they have an opportunity to win. It's not a team that's, like we've been saying pretty much every game this year, is not a team that's so much significantly more talented than they are. So hopefully they can put it all together, and maybe we'll finally get our first piece of the true offense and true defense that this team's going to be this year. And it doesn't get much better than the first game of the Mountain West Conference.
I'm going to be eager to see when Keenan Kristen comes back. I know we have to see that in the chat feed. When Kristen comes back, how is that going to impact the offense? I would think that's going to be a dynamic addition, and you got to find some touches for him. Hopefully he'll get back at full strength, because we know what he can do. We know what he can bring. But it's going to be tough. I mean, Hawaii, Wyoming, and those two games are winnable games, man. Wyoming finally got their first win over Air Force, so that tells me Air Force is not what they used to be. Hawaii, they're struggling as well under Timmy Chang, and they've been inconsistent this year as well. So, I mean, we got a 2-game stretch here where this offense should be able to continue to get some confidence. Like you said, get those passing numbers from Danny up well above the 20s into the 30s. Central Michigan, I agree. They seemed very well coached. I mean, they had their system going. I think they were perfect on fourth downs, like 4-4 or something like that. So, I mean, you do that kind of stuff when you've been running that system for a little while. And I know Coach McElwain's been there for several years now. He's got that system going and how he wants it. And we're just not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, Coach McElwain's a solid coach, man. He got Colorado State to a bowl game, and when's the last time that's happened, So I know it didn't end well for him there, but I think that's more of a systemic thing. With the athletic department in Colorado State, but he's a solid coach. That doesn't, I mean, we still should have won this game. I'm not making an excuse or anything, but it's not like, Central Michigan's a terrible program. He's got a solid program going over there. So, you take the lumps and move on, and hopefully we get on the right side this week against Hawaii.
I'm seeing the chat. The people bringing up those screen passes. That was one thing we did a lot of in this game was like that tunnel screen or whatever, like a bubble screen in the middle of the line. That seemed to be very effective. It reminded me of those Tom Craft days when we used to run those little like bubble screens a lot. I'm gonna try and see this Thursday maybe if I could get Coach C on with me. We'll kind of go through some of the offenses, X's and O's, and kind of look at Danny O'Neil and the quarterback spot in particular and see what he thinks from a coach's standpoint, some of those X's and O's. Hopefully we'll be able to do that Thursday. The Padres can wrap things up on Wednesday. That'd be lovely. But yeah, definitely want to take a closer look at some of those things. Sergio needs some Sergio offense. That's right, Aztec Gamers. Guys, we got another Hijos podcast for those of you bilingual Spanish speakers want to catch up on the first ever collegiate podcast in Espanol. And of course, Aztec Gamers, they play the matchup every week on EA College Football 2025. And Sergio's going to be on there. He's undefeated so far. Got to get Sean in that win column. Got to get Sean in the win column. All right, guys, let's kind of switch gears a little bit because, man, Mountain West, we are still in the Mountain West technically right now. Now, we won't be in 2 years. But what do you think about Texas State? Texas State being rumored to have been offered by the Mountain West to join the conference. And also I saw UTEP has also been offered, reportedly, right? Through sources being offered by the Mountain West. Those are two Texas teams, dude. I think those are actually very wise additions if that's really the case for the Mountain West. Strategically, it puts them geographically getting into Texas, and it kind of cuts the Pac-12 off from hopping over Texas and grabbing, like a Tulane or a Memphis if they're still after those guys. And I don't think those guys would really care or mind that, but just the fact that you put your presence as kind of in between those guys, it's a good move, I think.
I think UTEP is a great addition to the Mountain West because they've got a rivalry with New Mexico. And they've got some history with the other former WAC schools.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good addition for them. They can have them. I wanted no part of UTEP in the Pac-12. So they can have them. Texas State. I think Texas State's going to hold out to see if they get that Pac-12 invite. But
I don't know. I think Sacramento State might cut them to the jump, dude.
I mean, dude, if they're talking about investing a bunch of money into their program, so
have you seen that? They're building a new stadium, multi-purpose stadium, like millions of dollars being built in the 20th media market of the country, Sacramento, Sacktown. And they also said they got listen to this, $35 million dedicated to NIL, Sacramento State. That's what they're claiming. Yeah. 35 million? Are you kidding me? That there's no way.
I'll believe it when they start dishing out checks, man. That's when I'll believe it. But I mean, good for them. If it's true, I'm not opposed to it. Other than road trips to Sacramento don't seem that fun to me.
No, man, they're all gonna have cowbells in the stands, just like the Sacramento Kings did back in the days, dude. Like, there's no way 35 million.
I'm not against elevating another state school. We talked about it last time. The state schools need to try to kind of stick together. It's only good for the state schools. But we'll see, man. I mean, if that money that they're talking about comes to fruition, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's better than adding, a team like UTEP or New Mexico State or something like that. To me, that's a better add than those schools.
It's a better market for sure, but I mean they're FCS level, right? They're FCS level.
Yeah,
that's a big jump to just try to go to a Pac-12 conference, but I mean they obviously sound as if they're being supported and propped up, by CSU system, which is great. Like you said, we need more football culture on the West Coast, and if that's one, I just don't see that happening right now. There's no way. What they say, what they say, Tom Hanks is an alum or something like that. I think I saw that in our chat group earlier today. They're saying Tom Hanks is an alum. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it happening, but like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But Yeah, man. This whole situation is crazy. It's weird. I don't know what's going on, but the Mountain West adding Texas State and UTEP didn't really affect the Pac-12's plans at all. I don't think. Even if Texas State accepts it, I don't know if Texas State was really on the Pac-12 radar to begin with. So I think that was just kind of us wish casting it because we want that trip to San Marcos.
Yeah. So let me pose this to you, James. Let me pose this to you and to everybody else watching, like as Pac-12 members now, San Diego State. One team to get to 8. One team, football team, because I know everybody wants Gonzaga on the basketball side. So who are you guys picking? Who is out there if Memphis and Tulane do not come to their senses and join the Pac-12? I mean, who are you going to go after? Who do you want to go after?
Yeah, man, that's tough. Like I said,
Michael Dillos, BYU. Get out of here. Get out of here with that BYU.
The only real options are, teams like Texas State and North Texas. I mean, those are the only two I can think of. If you're not going to take any more Mountain West schools,
yeah,
those are the only two that are even close to being ready or close to being reasonable travel wise. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then you start getting into like other Sunbelt schools that are, just in the South. So that's too much of a travel issue for the other sports. So those are the only two options I think right now to just add one. But we'll see. I have a feeling this Tulane Memphis thing is going to work itself out. I don't think that's the end of that situation. I think that situation is going to play out a little longer, and I think they're going to end up being in the Pac-12 eventually.
I know we were looking at Ed Scott, the Memphis AD, and the choice words he had last week towards the end of the week and concerning that deal that the Pac-12 offered, which he basically just said it was a bad deal. And he did leave the door open, right? It was like, hey, if somebody calls me, I'm answering. That's my job. I talk to people. Yeah, I like the way he phrased it. So by him kind of putting it out there, you could take it. Yeah, he left the door open, but I feel like it's going to take a substantially better deal than what was offered to them. Now, does the Pac-12 have that money available to do it? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it. With all the exit fees and all that stuff, and then who knows how this lawsuit is going to work out with the Mountain West, right? I think that's a way that they're going to try and hold on to some money, right? Get some of that money back from those exit fees so that they can go back to a Memphis and a Tulane and say, here, be ours. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see how it plays out, guys. But I feel like those are the only two that they're locked in on, Who else are you going to bring in?
Yeah, there's really not many other options that are worth it to me. Yeah, dude, I think this lawsuit is kind of a negotiation thing with the Mountain West to get those fees down like you were talking about. And that may be part of the equation for coming back at Memphis and Tulane and I guess UTSA apparently was offered a better deal. So, yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, we're running short on time, but we still have time. It's weird. Like it's not till 2026, but like stuff's got to get moving fairly shortly here.
I like what T-Mac says. He says Gary Parrish became an ally. Remember that Gary Parrish that we all just didn't like a couple years back on the basketball side? He's like, he spent a few episodes going in hard on Memphis. The donors threatened to pull funding if they did not upgrade. I did see those episodes, and Gary Parrish, he went hard against Memphis. He was like, listen, you got to improve yourselves. Like turning this opportunity down is not a good look. It's not a good thing. Maybe it resonated. Maybe those calls for change resonated for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The blowback on social media was more than I thought it was going to be. The Memphis fans were not happy about the move to stay in the American Athletic Conference. So that was surprising and good for us, I guess. It seems like their fans are really excited about coming out to the Pac-12. And that can only be good, in my opinion. But we'll see, man. We're the people who make all the real calls they're the ones who ultimately, the big money people are the ones that make the decisions. So hopefully they start coming around.
Western Kentucky, Miami, BYU. What are you guys smoking in the chat? I want some of that. I want some of that good stuff. What are you guys smoking in there? Oh, boy. All right, guys. Hawaii this Saturday. Who's going? I know 3 losses in a row makes it very difficult. The momentum going into this game, dude. It's the first game when things really count in the Mountain West for a championship. As much improvement as I think I've seen, guys, when it comes to the Mountain West, it's very top heavy in my opinion, right? It's like it's Boise, UNLV, and then it's everybody else. I mean, we all saw what UNLV did to Fresno this past weekend. 59 points on those dudes, like that rarely happens. So it's an uphill, it's an uphill, it's an uphill climb for this Aztecs team. You got to win one though. You got to win the first one, and Hawaii is it.
Yeah, let's get going, man. Let's get this Hawaii game, and then 2 weeks when we're in Wyoming, hopefully we come home with a W from Laradice. Little 2-game win streak going. Let's get this thing loose.
Well, hopefully we'll have some good times at the tailgate because that always wins. T-Mac, that's exactly why I was so heated. He says BYU irritates me. They join the Big 12 and act like some legacy power program with their criticisms. But they back it up. They back it up, man. They back it up. They're performing pretty well in the Big 12, and I didn't see that coming. But
man, for all intents and purposes, BYU has basically been a power program for 30 years, dude. So they were a power program without actually being a power program. So
hate to say it, but it's true. I mean, they got a national championship, arguable, debatable national championship, but they got one. They got Heisman winner. They got one.
Yep. Between that and having a 60,000 seat stadium that they almost sell out every game, they're basically a power program. So I hate BYU as much as the next guy, but you got to have respect for what they've accomplished there and what they've done and the history they have.
That's what heated me over Utah State so much last week. Everybody's asking, man, you were upset about Utah State. Like, yeah, I was. Because we already had to deal with BYU for how many decades growing up. And it was like, oh my God, these guys are putting, 30-year-olds out there on the field and dealing with all those shenanigans. And then you're going to let their little, dumb cousin, you're going to elevate them. Like, why are you going to elevate these guys? Like, why are you going to do that again? It's Diet BYU. It's BYU Light. Why are we legitimizing them? Why are we doing this? Like, why? But
yeah,
that's just my stance,
It's spilt milk, man. You can't cry over it, dude. It is what it is. At least we'll have some fun basketball games. And we'll keep beating them up in football, which we do like 9 times out of 10.
This is true. Oh, Bizanley says, do we wish the Pac and the Mountain West just merged? And given everything that has happened, do we wish that the Mountain West and the Pac-12 just merged? No, absolutely not. No way, no how. No, I get it. People have complained. They've said, look, they should have just merged, right? All this mess is, it's ruining G5 football. I've seen those headlines out there. I've seen all that garbage. But listen, the Pac-2, right? Oregon State and Washington State, there's a reason why they sued over the rights to have the Pac-12 name brand, because that name brand still holds a lot of value. To the sports fan, maybe they look at it as it doesn't hold a lot of value, but legitimately the millions of dollars can still be generated under that Pac-12 name brand. So they want to make sure that they hold those funds there together. If they wouldn't have sued over that, then that fund, all that money would have been open to the other schools that left. So, I mean, there's potential revenue that we can partake of, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, James.
Not necessarily revenue, but it's money that the conference can use to be better.
Mhm.
And and that branding is still meaningful. It doesn't mean as much as it used to, but it's still meaningful when people see that Pac-12 name on stuff. So yeah, I mean, but that, and like T-Mac said in the comments, it mainly gets us away from those mountain schools that kind of voted against the interests of the schools on the West Coast. So that alone is worth it, in my opinion. So I do not regret it at all. I'd rather be aligned with Oregon State and Washington State and the 4 schools that came with us, instead of Air Force and Wyoming and New Mexico. And I think it's just a better, and that's kind of why I'm okay with Sacramento State possibly getting elevated. That's just another West Coast school that can be added and be an ally. And I think that's, if you're not going to be in a power conference, it's better to be regional and be with like-minded universities. And I think that's what we are right now in the Pac-12.
Yeah, seeing some good responses there. I mean, when it comes to the Mountain West, those teams like a New Mexico, like Wyoming, some of those smaller market teams, San Jose State, right? These are programs that they don't really invest on the same level, even at a G5 in the same conference as San Diego State or a Boise or Colorado State, or those, like, they don't invest in themselves the same level. So by trimming that fat, I mean, these are the 4 best market teams, aside from UNLV, which they should have jumped out. They should have jumped out instead of Utah State, but they're getting paid because they need that money right now. So it's just one of those things, man. It's a lot of people can look from the outside and say, "Oh, it was greed, it was this, it was that," but I mean, no, the greed is at the top. The greed is in the Big Ten. The greed is in the SEC. That's where all the greed took place. Like, how much money was too much money or not enough money, and then it just trickles down to where now the Mountain West has to deal with this. And if you want to make yourself better, well, you got to trim off the fat. So no, I
What
do not wish that they would have merged. No.
what I've noticed is a lot of the comments I've seen that you referred to, like, oh, why didn't they just merge? That most of those people making those comments are like writers for Big Ten teams or SEC teams or national writers that only cover the Big Ten and SEC. Like, they're the only ones really complaining. The people the writers that follow Group of 5 schools, they understand what's going on and they agree with it. It's all these people that don't really know the situation, that don't understand what's going on, that just care about the Power 5, Power 4 programs. It seems like they're the ones that, oh, why don't they just merge? Who cares? Well, we care, man.
Yeah,
it's a big deal to us.
Oh boy, the Pac-12 returning to its roots in a ways, yeah, and I do, in a way, hope that they just stop at 8. Add on Tulane or a Memphis or both, 8 or 9, and stop there. Maybe you add on a Gonzaga as that 10th school in a non-football, but 10 schools, keep it at like a Pac-10 type of thing, keep it a little bit exclusive, and there's plenty of growth and time opportunity for, if a Sacramento State elevates themselves, if they truly do what they say they're going to do, build the facilities. They're already at what do they say, over 30,000 enrollment on the West Coast. So I mean, there's room for growth, absolutely. But I kind of like that, returning to a more of a regional conference. And hey, if you could get Tulane, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, the only reason I'm cool with 10 is that lets you play a championship game. So 10 is probably the ideal number. It's not ideal for scheduling, but it's ideal for revenue purposes, because that championship game is basically like free money. Yeah, dude. I definitely am. I'm on your side. 8 or 9 teams is cool with me. 10 is good for the conference, probably money wise. But if they stop it, if they add Memphis, Tulane, and stop at 9, I'm all right with that. If they add UTSA to make it 10, I'm okay with that too. So yeah, dude, it's a lot. The future is still bright, man. Things are still. I'm excited. I can't wait till 2026. Can't wait till we find out who the 8th team is so we can relax a little bit and just start preparing. But yeah, it's still a good thing. I'm still happy with where the situation is, given what took place in the last year and a half.
Man, what did happen in the last year and a half, dude? I don't even know anymore. Woo! I don't want to know. I don't want to go back. I just want to win. And we got to win on Saturday against Hawaii. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining. I think we're going to wrap things up on this Monday night. Like we said, it's a Padres week. Make sure you guys go check out that Swinging Monty shirt in the store. Of course, all of our NIL shop. Our NIL team is all on sale right now. sonsofmontezuma.com. And, of course, Manscaped. Get your Manscaped. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Angelica. Solid broadcast. Go for the dub on Saturday. That's right. Go for the win. Got to go for the win. We're not playing for field goals this game. We're going for the jugular. We're going for the jugular. Let's go. 60 passes for Danny Dimes. I want 60 pass attempts. I want Jude Wolf with 5 touchdowns. He's going to pull a Gronk. He's going to pull a Gronk performance. Beat the Bows. Absolutely. Yellow lot, everybody at Snapdragon. Stop by, say hello. We'll be out there probably doing the hula or the haka. And hopefully our friends from the Rainbow wrap up the Hawaiian podcast out there. Hopefully we'll be able to mingle and stuff. Because, it's always a party when Hawaii comes into town, man. There's no animosity with those. How can you hate the Rainbow Warriors? And they can't hate those guys. Come on. All right, James, thank you for joining tonight, man. Everybody have a great night. Go Padres, go Aztecs. Let's get this championship, World Series championship going this week. Let's go. I said it. Let's go.
All W's for San Diego this week.
All right. Everybody have a good night. See you next time. See ya.
Go Aztecs. Go Padres.